Welcome to this week's episode of the Three Quarters Podcast. As always, thank you to Pernod Ricard, and today's drink of choice is Chivas Regal Extra. To interact with us, social media handles at the bottom of the screen. And let's get this story of sports running. My guest, as always, Tony Mtai, Karibu Three Quarters Podcast.
Pleasure.
Cigars of choice today is the Cohibas.
You're welcome.
As always, I'll put this down. There you go. So, Tony, cheers.
Cheers, brother.
Kenya Cup action is back. I'll read the results real quick. You went for one game. You went for Impala versus Cabras. Then we'll discuss. I think there's one particular one we have to discuss.
Yeah.
So we have Top Pride Nakuru losing to KCB 18-31. We have Menengai Oilers losing to Homeboys 14-37. We have Western Bulls losing to Kenya Harlequins 16-28. We have Impala losing to Cabras 26-37. We have Nondis losing to Black Blood 17-32. And then we have Kisumu losing to Stanbic 32-50. One thing to note, by the way, there's no home team that won their game this week. Huh? So let's start with the Impala versus Cabras game, which is the game you had a chance to watch. Then, of course, we'll touch on two other games I want us to touch on: Blood versus Nondis, and of course Queens versus Western Bulls. So we'll start with Impala versus Cabras. What was your take from that game?
It was I expected a very intense game.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sorry to say the intensity was lower than I expected.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I expect good rugby from.
Fair enough.
As I've always said,
Yes.
I expect good rugby
Yeah.
in the league.
Yeah.
One thing I noted was Cabras are playing fantastic rugby.
Yeah.
Like I'm yet to see a team that can beat those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they act very professional, both on and off the pitch. Yeah. And at some point, the game was below my expectations, as I said earlier.
Yeah.
The intensity was there was so much to ask from it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why Anselmo is not playing.
Yeah.
Especially because especially from the ninth.
Yeah.
The halfbacks were really slowing down the
Yeah.
game. Cabras are very clinical.
Yes.
Yeah. Once they sniff you at 22, you start counting points. Yeah. And that's what's going around.
Yes.
Rugby. You know, it's about execution.
Yeah.
And the discipline. Once you get to the
opposition 22.
Teams really work hard
Yeah.
to get to the 22.
Yeah.
So it's very sad when you get to the 22 and you don't score any points. And that happened to Impala a lot from the beginning of the game. They got into Cabras' half for a while and they came out without points. But there are players to mention in the Cabras team.
Yes.
There's one
Kubu.
Kubu.
Say John Kubu. Yeah.
That guy is a nuisance. I hate playing against him.
Yeah.
Because it tears defenses apart. He scored a brilliant try. He had a brace. 2 brilliant tries.
Yeah.
Solo effort.
Yeah.
But Cabras are very clinical.
Yes.
And before the game, I was talking to their chairman, Philip Jalano.
Yeah.
And I asked him, what's your prediction of today's game? And he just said, if any team wants to beat Cabras, be ready to defend for 80 minutes.
Yeah.
If you defend for 79 minutes, you might lose.
You lose to Cabras.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, I'll be honest, I haven't watched them play this season, but to think about
They're playing really well.
What everyone is saying, because everyone has told me that they're playing very well, and I think about how good they were last season, only to lose to KCB in the final. Of course,
they're
KCB
better than
was
last
superior.
season.
Yeah, and I get the feeling that they're better than last season.
Yeah.
Of course, they lead the log by 1 point. They have 65, and KCB have 64. But it's quickly looking like it's going to be a repeat of, I mean, the last, 4 finals that we've had?
So.
Yeah.
I think the top 2 teams are very distinct
Yes.
from the rest of the clubs.
Actually, I have the table here.
Yeah.
Cabras at 65, KCB 64, Homeboys 59, which you've talked about.
Yeah.
Impala at distant 17 points, 42. Then Menengai Oilers 36, and Mwamba wrapping off the playoff positions.
Yeah.
So that's Impala versus Cabras. The next game, of course, is Blood versus Nondis. And the reason why I say this, I mean,
Yes.
Blood beat Nondis at home 32-17. You have been saying repeatedly.
I've been talking about Black Blood.
Yes, that
The
you
last
cannot,
few weeks.
you cannot underestimate
Yeah.
Black Blood. And I got the feeling that, or maybe again, it was the beginning of the season, but you got the feeling that Nondis had fixed their house.
Yeah.
But clearly it's not looking like that's the case.
They actually had, yeah. By the time they came home and
And they beat us.
thrashed Queens.
Yes.
Yeah. And they've been playing good rugby.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's Black Blood, as I've said. I'm even sounding like a broken record. Black Blood, they're a good team.
Yes.
They're a fantastic team. I keep saying about University Rugby.
Yes.
I wish other universities can invest in rugby like the way they do.
Yeah.
They have a fantastic coach, former Kenya team.
Kenya team coach too.
Yeah.
Like Tanko Tieno, yeah.
Tanko Tieno, yeah. And again, this is not the upsets.
Yes.
I feel like Black Blood still have something in
They
them.
still have something in the tanks.
Yeah.
There are 3 weeks to go. So
Yeah.
you're right. I mean, they could be that one person they might upset. And then, of course, it rejigs everything.
I don't know who they are playing next. But
Either the relegation, I don't have the fixtures,
Yeah.
but either the relegation battle or the playoff battle. I mean,
Yeah.
you never know what they could do. And so we moved to the last game, which was, it's even shocking to say, it was a relegation battle.
Yeah.
It was Queens versus...
this is history, yeah?
Yeah, it was Western Bulls versus Queens.
Yeah.
Had Western Bulls beat Queens, then Queens would have moved into the relegation spot.
Yeah.
And their next 2 games are very hot. I mean, they play Oilers and Nakuru. So they are able to beat Bulls away.
Yeah.
Do you think it was convincing?
No, I don't think it was.
They got the job done, yeah.
The lads did their job. Yeah. But the squad we took down to Western Province
Yeah,
I'd expected more from them.
yeah,
Yeah. I'd expected a beating, especially from what they did to us
yes.
in our home ground.
In our home ground, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Expected more actually.
yeah.
But at some point, as we're following the scores, it was a bit tight at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know because I didn't watch the game.
23-16 at some point,
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't watch the game, so I wouldn't be more technical about it.
Yes.
But I expected Queens to pile up points against our opponents.
Yeah.
But the job was done.
Job was done, and they move into 9th position.
Yeah.
Nondis is now in 10th position. Then, of course, the last 2 being Western Bulls and
Yeah.
So that's a wrap up of that. What has happened? I mean, that was the most serious game, if you ask me, for Queens, taking into account the next 2 opponents that I have. So that's a wrap up for Kenya. Kenya Cup, of course, is still going on. We have another 3 weeks.
I'd like to mention something about the ongoing Kenya Cup.
Yes.
I still feel like the quality of rugby, because the game I watched yesterday, I expected good rugby.
Yeah.
Yeah, because these are top-notch clubs.
Yes.
I expected them to play good rugby. But unfortunately, I didn't see flair.
Yeah.
I didn't see execution, especially from Impala. As much as the scores were beat, favoring Cabras a bit.
Yeah.
I expected good rugby. The skill level
was wanting.
Yes, was still wanting.
Yeah.
And I still insist that the union should do something about it.
Yeah.
About the quality of rugby being played.
Yeah.
We don't want to go, as they say, we are separating men from boys right now.
Yeah.
As we go into the playoffs, I'd like to see good rugby being played.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more continuity.
Yeah.
There's discussion in World Rugby right now about stopping the time during a kick.
Yes.
So that the fans can watch more rugby.
Watch more rugby, yes.
Yeah, but you can't give teams more rugby.
Yeah. If
and
you
half of
haven't-
it scrimmages.
Yes, if you haven't fixed.
Yeah.
Look, if you ask me, Tony, this thing all boils down to one thing.
Yeah.
The reason why we're seeing the kind of rugby you're seeing from Cabras and KCB is because they've actually invested in their
So
game.
much.
A hell, I was going to use another word, but a hell lot of money. They've invested a hell lot of money in their teams, and that is why you're seeing the performances that you're seeing from these guys. The truth, I keep on saying that in Kenya, we pick up, for example, rugby at a very old age, at 14 years.
Yeah.
These are guys who've been brought up or rather the people they've engaged.
Yeah.
KCB are engaging Western Province, and so is Cabras.
Yeah.
These are guys who've been playing rugby from scratch, so it's more in them than it is in us.
Yeah. You see a lot of players who have a rugby brain, huh?
Yes.
And I'd like to see more of them.
Yes.
They are very talented high school kids. If you see schools like St. Mary's Yala, they have very talented kids. I don't know where they get them.
But you see, Tony, also on the flip side, you have to make it attractive for them. And I keep on saying that. You have to make it attractive for them to move into club rugby. Because, and I had this discussion here. If you look at the JWRT team in 2009, none of them, or rather very few of them, transitioned into the Kenya senior squad. Why is it so? Because when you get to 23, 24, when you're finishing university, there's nothing attractive for you to stay in the game. Would you rather follow your career, or would you stay in the game? And it's a choice many people make. We just won. We went to the JWRT last year, Kenya Under-20s, and it's going to be the same thing unless we make the game attractive. And
the game is quickly changing now, so it's very, like, I don't know how to call Kenya Rugby right now. I don't know if it's professional or semi-professional.
It's not professional.
Definitely it's not professional. Semi-professional. Let's call it semi-professional. Do you know rugby in Argentina? It's not professional.
Yes.
Yeah. But they're playing good rugby. They are contenders to South Africa. They are contenders to Australia. I guarantee you that Argentina can beat Australia.
Oh yeah, but if you go back to it, even developing that talent requires money.
Yeah.
And you just have to make the game more attractive for corporate partnerships, for people who would like to invest in it. Do you know, like, Brazil? I don't know if you're in that squad that played away Brazil in 2016.
I played Brazil in Dubai, and the Simbas toured.
Yes.
Rio de Janeiro.
They toured to Brazil, and they beat Brazil by 1 point. But now, if the Simbas play Brazil, it's a different ballgame. And it's all because there's somebody who saw the potential in the Brazilian rugby and poured in $1 million.
Because I'm sorry to say, but I feel like 15s rugby in Kenya right now is going down.
We've gone back. We've gone back, which actually now takes me to my next topic.
Yeah.
And it's a commercial state of the game in the country right now as we speak.
Yeah.
You had the privilege of playing 15s in a period that both 15s and 7s enjoyed a lot of limelight.
Yeah.
The management of the game was
A1.
to
be famous.
Yes. The management of the game was A1. These guys were making money. You must have been in that Simba's team that went to visit former President Kibaki in State House.
Yes.
And somebody was telling me in that conversation, he was saying that all other unions should be following the Kenya Rugby Union.
Yes.
Because Kenya Rugby Union never went to government to ask for money. And it never happens anywhere in the world, that where the government has to bail you out. So, before I make my comments, and actually, I'll just throw in one thing, then you can take it out.
Yeah.
Year in, year out, you hear about scandals in clubs.
Yeah.
About money being lost.
Yeah.
You hear one club cannot account for 70 million shillings.
Yeah.
You hear
Unfortunately.
another club cannot account for 60 million shillings. Right? So before I make my comments, what do you think is ailing, or what do you think is the problem in Kenya Rugby right now, such that we cannot be able to commercially viable?
I feel like people are getting away with too much. Yeah. And the union or the rugby fraternity is entertaining it.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't. 70 million is a lot of money.
It's a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah. You can run a union for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess it's an African thing, by the way, because
it is.
You don't want to take people to task.
People should be accountable.
Yeah, people should be accountable. I mean, if you're in these positions and there's money that is missing, I'll give you a story. I told you this story the first time you were here. I was having a discussion with EABL folks on a different thing altogether. And we went back to the Safari Sevens.
Yeah, I remember.
And we were discussing, and they tell me that they asked the union for a budget for the Safari Sevens last year. And the union gave them a budget of 100 million. EABL decided to do it on themselves. And they only spent 30 million shillings.
I mean, 100 million is a hell lot of money.
It's a hell lot of money.
You can't run a 2 or 3 day tournament with 100 million.
With 100 million shillings.
It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. And as I was saying, people need to be accountable.
Yes.
We can't get people get away with this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. The relevant institutions should do something about it.
We, and it's unfortunate because I feel like he was
Very
a big,
unfortunate.
he was a big part of it. But there's a time I was reading a Richard Omwela interview just after I think he had lost his first time as chairman.
Yeah.
And he was saying how it's shocking that somebody gets elected to some of these posts and you are catching a job to go to Queens. But a few years into office, you are now driving a Benz.
Very few.
You're not driving a Shinde. Come on, man.
Very few. It's really unfortunate. Guys, it's serious looting. And it's so sad for the game. Rugby in Kenya has been rated highly by other unions.
Yes.
Whether it's athletics, whether it's football.
Or rather, used to be rated highly.
Yeah.
Yes.
It used to, and someone should do something about it. I don't know if it's us, if it's me and you.
Yes.
Someone should really come in and do something about it.
If I have had the chance to be in some of these meetings and sitting down, and it is a very, we are like, what are they called? I call it tunnel vision. For us, is Angoma.
Yeah.
We don't see anything outside here. And like, I keep on asking, why is it that in 2020, clubs are running on handouts?
Yeah, it's and we can't go backwards.
Yes.
I was listening to the All Blacks coach recently.
Yes.
He's already talking about the curse of the semi.
Yes.
He's already thinking about
the next World Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2023.
And right now, I'm sure very few people are thinking about us qualifying for the next World Cup.
No hell,
we need to change our thinking.
Yes.
And because it's an avenue for sports, is an avenue for a lot of revenue.
A hell lot of money.
For clubs, even for the government.
The government.
Yeah.
For people, individuals.
Yeah, for the players.
For the players. And people can make...
It can be a source of employment,
yes,
source of income.
It can. It can be. If it's run... just to show you how people don't look at sports as anything serious in this country. Nyayo Stadium has been shut since 2017. And it's because the contractors haven't done anything. And then because a national function was going to happen there last week, it was fixed in a heartbeat. You see, that's the issue we're having with the people who are managing sports in this country. And it boils down even to rugby. And it's very sad because even in rugby, we have a fairly young group of guys who are running the game, but they have just taken up what they found there. Yeah. Maybe it's hard to change the system, I don't know.
It shouldn't be.
I don't think it should be. And like you're saying, or like I was saying, the game has been run well before.
Very well.
That we're sitting now in Kenya Rugby Union is saying that government hasn't sent money. That's absurd, man.
It is. It is actually. There's a lot of, like we talked about, double headers. Something simple. It's a source of revenue. We've had discussions about having rugby on Sundays.
Yes. Or Friday nights.
Yeah. Just to bring income. And
yes.
And every time I'm here, I keep challenging the union.
Yes.
I keep challenging the union because it's their responsibility.
Yes.
It's their responsibility to make sure we have quality rugby being played in the country. It's their responsibility to make sure there's quality revenue being generated by the sport. Yeah. But there's a lot.
You don't see it.
No, I think guys are just doing it's business as usual.
I sent. I'm laughing because I won't mention who, but there's somebody I sent a video of former NBA Commissioner David Stern and how he built the NBA to a level that they're making a hell lot of money and people are being able to live off it. To date, I've never received a response, and I was very okay to sit down with the person and have a discussion with him and talk about how we can be able to commercialize the game. To date, Tony, and maybe 1 month in, I'm yet to receive a response. But hey, look, we can talk about this very much.
Yeah, I know. We always do.
Yeah, let me move on to the next thing. We forgot to do it last week, but you're going to do it this week. And it's our new segment introduced by you of play, bench and drop. So I'll let you go first.
It's a very interesting one. I don't know why I like doing siblings. Last time I did 3 siblings.
Yes.
But I want to appreciate.
Yes.
It's very unique to find siblings playing the sport.
Yes.
Especially 3. You can do 2.
I can see where you're going. But anyway.
Neto Simiu.
I knew it.
Victor Sudi.
Innocent Simiu.
Yeah. 15s.
15s, yeah, 15s, 15s.
Perspective.
I'll definitely start Innocent Simi. I'll start Namcos because of consistency.
Yeah.
And there's an X factor that Namcos had when he played that he always brought, especially on offense. When it comes to, this is tough, but and you will know better. But I would bench Victor Sudi, primarily because two things: consistency and longevity. He had a pretty long career and he was consistent throughout his career. Yeah. The only reason I drop Neto, I find Neto very entertaining, by the way. I like watching, but I always get the feeling that if Neto is off,
he's off days. He doesn't sit on the fence.
Yes.
He's always this side or
yes. When he's off, he's off. What about you? How would you go?
It's two of those guys have actually been my captains in different occasions.
Yes.
Innocent Sibiu was my captain at the Kenya Rugby.
Yes. And
we had an unbeaten season with him.
Yes.
Sudi has been my captain at Queens.
Yes.
Once he moved from Impala. Neto is my buddy.
Yes.
He's a really good chap to hang around with.
Yes.
He has very funny jokes.
Yeah.
But judging from the quality of rugby or who I'd rather sit out and have a beer
with, see where this is going.
I'd definitely start Innocent.
Yeah.
I watched the game with him yesterday.
Yeah.
And he had very, very elite views of the game. He had, like, he could say something and I hadn't thought of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He looks at the game differently.
Yes.
And he's a fantastic player.
Yeah.
For me, he's one of the greatest players Kenya has ever produced.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. He came back from his injury.
That injury is super serious, man.
Yeah. And it's a career-ending injury.
Yeah.
And he came back.
Yeah.
And he played good rugby. He was called back to the Kenya team.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'd start him.
Start him? Okay, then you bench.
Okay, now. You know, Sudi is an official at the club right now. So I wouldn't want to say something bad about you. But unfortunately, I dropped Sudi.
So you'd bench Neto?
Yeah. Okay. Reason being, Sudi has had his heydays. He used to destroy Queens when he was in Impala.
Yes.
By himself.
Yes.
And I used to hate him for that. I'd drop him for that fact.
Yes.
Neto, I'd bench him because every time he's in the field and I'm playing with him, he always passes the ball to me.
He's biased.
Yeah. even when he's going to score, he passes the ball to me so that I score.
Okay, that's it. Quickly, I'll name mine when we finish because we're running out of time.
Okay.
At number 15, it's one I picked up last week, by the way. Philip Wokrach, Jonah Kubu, Kevin Keegan.
Oh, those are brilliant players, huh?
Yeah.
Quickly, I'll start Philip Wokrach. He's an international. He's class. He's class, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. I watched Kubu yesterday. I think, oh, goodness. Can I change my mind? Anyway, but at 15, I'd bench Kubu.
Yes. And then
I'd start Wokrach. I'd drop Keegan because I don't think he's a good 15.
Yes.
But he's a natural 10. He's a natural winger.
Yes.
He's a natural blindside, actually.
Yeah. This one, who you pick is obvious for me, Philip Wokrach. Between Kubu and Keegan. Up until last season, I would bench Kevin Keegan, and for one reason and one reason only. Keegan is not here, and he's not here. But he'll give you this.
Yeah.
He'll give you consistency every game.
He'll deliver.
Yeah. Kubu, we know because of his flair.
He's so brilliant.
He's so brilliant. But sometimes I've watched games in which his flair is what causes the mistakes. Causes them to lose. So
Kubu is actually going to win the league for Cabras.
We'll wait and see that. So I would be like that. We'll wrap up quickly with something I'd really like to touch on. And for the football fans, if you do not know, you know now. Chivas Regal is official partner for Manchester United. Official spirits partner for Manchester United.
So barrel for
Sir Alex Ferguson. They commemorated. They did a special edition for him because of the 13 Premier League titles he won for Man United.
That's class.
That's class. Now, another brand that's distributed by Pernod Ricard. Royal Salute is heavily involved in polo.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't, for purposes of being professional, I wouldn't mention another brand that has now sponsored the NBA. So it's something that's happening very well in the West.
Yeah.
Do you see us ever getting to the point that we will have such commercial partnerships in Kenya? Say for, Tuscan Rugby has always been there.
Yeah,
but I'm thinking about a bit high end. Do you think we'll ever get to that?
We have a very long way to go. If you look at the level of sports we're playing, this is what other countries or other unions in other countries were doing 4 or 5 years ago. That's why, that's where we are right now. So I think we have a long way to go.
Yeah.
But we need to change some things. If we do, we won't get there very soon.
Yes.
Yeah, it takes a lot of effort.
It takes a hell lot of effort.
Yeah.
And to see, first, you have to clean up. We have to clean up ourselves.
A lot. We have a lot to clean up.
Yeah, because before Chivas decides to partner with Manchester United, it's because of the brand that Manchester United is.
Or three-quarter podcast.
Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. So we need to sanitize. We need to sanitize and clean our house before we can get some of the corporate partnerships that I see. It's very easy to happen. The blueprint is already there. We just need to focus on it.
It's very clear for us. It's about our discipline and how we choose to
do it.
Yeah.
That's that, man. Anyway, that has been this week's episode of Three Quarters Podcast. Tony, as always, thank you very much for joining us on the Three Quarters Podcast. To Pernod Ricard and Chivas Regal Extra in particular, thank you very much for sponsoring this episode. Social media handles are at the bottom of the screen. So kindly interact with us and let us know what some of the topics that you might want to hear us discuss on the Three Quarters Podcast. Until next week, it's been fun. Cheers, guys. Thank you.